Welcome back, everyone, to Dreamhack Winter Hearthstone Grand Prix. I'm Raven, and we are moving on to round 3 of the Swiss. We have with me live coach and Froden to bring you the action for this next series, and it's going to be Th3Rat versus Pokrovac. So going to be a great matchup. Two players we maybe haven't seen too much of recently. Pokrovac did play in the Hearthstone Championship Tour, of course, but other than that, maybe fly under the radar a little bit so far.
Yeah, I think these two guys have a really good matchup head-to-head, primarily because Pokrovac we haven't really seen since the Winter Championships of Hearthstone Championship Tour earlier this year, but he did go to the finals, and then he made some appearances here and there in other tournaments. He's bringing the lineup that we saw Th3Rat play, where it's just like based in Rena Warlock and Dragon Warrior, and I want to see how well that does against the traditional lineup that Th3Rat's bringing, and I feel like that was a good head-to-head out of the people who are playing currently 2-0.
Yeah, and Th3Rat as well, you know, one of the American players that has come over, so it's great to see, you know, more and more Americans come over and play Dreamhack. He's looking forward to it, and he's actually doing pretty well. These both players are 2-0 now, right? So
correct.
So they are winning. So if they go into 3-0 so far, this is actually, you know, a really great start as well. As good as it's going to get for the Swiss at this point, so it can really propel them into a good score going into tomorrow at least. But yeah, in terms of the lineups, live coach, do you think like Sifka's lineup? Obviously, we saw him perform very well with the Dragon Warrior in the series we had on stream. But do you think the lineup overall is going to be good enough to take down the more standard lineup with these bans that you can see now as well?
Oh, it's interesting, yeah. So Th3Rat's Druid got banned, and that was actually a strategy which Stan Cifka basically also brought down to Spain, where he chose to ban the Druid, and this opens basically the window to bring Rena Warlock, which we basically mentioned also earlier. And yeah, I guess it's definitely a viable strategy, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and we can see no true surprise that the Shaman is banned out for Pokrovac, with Th3Rat taking a much more standard lineup. So it's going to be cool to see these guys go at it. You know, the sort of the entry-level sort of tier 1 approach of just bringing the best lineup of decks overall, and then as we were discussing earlier, you know, you start to try and like mind game and try and counterplay what you think the field's going to take, and see if Pokrovac can actually do it as well.
Yeah, you know, I thought, you know, are we gonna always see the ban shaman strategy? But some people always think outside the box. I personally feel very scared to leave shaman up because of how potent it is. Look no further than just the dominance you see on ladder, and the heroic tavern brawl just shows how good that class can be. But some people just feel confident in leaving it up. Do you feel like it's okay to leave shaman if you're going to play this type of strategy from Pokrovac / Th3Rat?
I don't think it's very viable to leave shaman open. Just because shaman is such a strong deck, it just dominates all decks. There is not even a hard counter to that, right? So in my world, you should just ban shaman. But I guess the Rena Warlock, the better you are, the less punished you get by that. So I guess you can only do this strategy with a ban druid playing Rena Warlock if you're really, really confident in doing so. Yeah,
you have to be one of the best players to be able to pull it off, because those players know their win conditions too. So it's not like ladder, where a lot of times you try to judge your statistics on ladder. It's different. Your opponent necessarily doesn't understand how to play the matches more thoroughly compared to some of these players who are world class.
Yeah, and I think regarding the Rena Lock as well, these decks aren't revealed to the players in this tournament. They are hidden, and with Rena Lock, there's so many builds. Obviously, it's 30 singular cards, unique cards, and you can just slip in almost anything into that deck. And we saw from Stan Cifka when he was playing in Spain the other week that he brought like almost every single card that could contest the board some way or punish a wide board to try and beat, you know, the Shaman list. And you just don't know what you're going to come up against at this portion of the tournament. So that could really throw the Rat off, actually.
Yeah, you could play one-turn kill style of Rena Warlock. You can play just very defensive N'Zoth, where you build a lot of cards and board pressure, and then you can just, you know, like you say, play that style where you're just playing anti-board. And then there's also just the kind of Reno lock that some people play, like dragons, for example, on ladder. Just there's a lot of different ways you can play it, which is really scary. There's also the handlock style where you just play like mountain giants, face channel. So I want to see what's going to happen and if it works out, because right now, after like round 3 or 4, you start seeing the strategies which are really dominant come to play.
Yeah, and especially how they bounce off each other as well, because one of the strange things that can come up is you've built your lineup to be what you think the majority of the field's bring in. But then what if you face, what if Pokrovac goes against Stan Sifka? Like, what do you even do at that point?
Right.
So focused on one particular lineup. But we're about to see how it plays out now. Pokrovac versus Th3Rat here in game 1. So live coach and throwdown. Enjoy.
All right, thank you, Raven.
Raven.
All right, well, Pokrovac looking for early ramp, gets double wild growth. That kind of opening hand is sort of what you're looking for, although normally double wild growth doesn't always get played because you're just looking for one. However, if you have a nourish and the coin, you probably can look to play both, perhaps.
Exactly, yeah, that's just awesome. You can coin the wild growth and the wild growth and then play this nourish to refill your hand, which is exactly what you're aiming for if you draw this double acceleration nourish into your starting hand.
How good is that opening shaman hand? There's a little bit of awkwardness to it. You have 2 spirit claws, totem golem overload you, so you can't play the man-side totem. Do you like that shaman hand as well?
No, not really. I mean, basically what you mentioned, the totem golem will put some pressure on the board, but the next turn is empty, probably putting another totem on board which delivers 0 damage every turn, and this goes into the turn 4. So it's a pretty awkward hand, also specifically with the double claws, which is also simply dead. So yeah, not a very good start of Shaman for sure.
I know a lot of people have debated Auctioneer in Druid. Some people think it's amazing, some people think it's terrible. I know G2 actually played a lot with the Auctioneer, and you guys landed on that you like it, right, in Druid? Do you still like that? Is that still the case?
Well, I think it's definitely viable if you plan to ban Shaman, because Auctioneer is quite a kind of a very, very slow card, right? So if you ban Shaman, you take out one matchup where the Auctioneer might be very bad, and then you might consider it, yeah.
But then Pokrovac is not banning Shaman, so he chooses to bring the Auctioneer.
That's
Could
right.
make him a little bit more vulnerable.
That's right, but this is also something I saw in some lists that they say, okay, we leave Shaman open and we bring an anti-aggressive Druid, which doesn't even play Malygos, but plays an Auctioneer instead, cycling all the cards into the Auctioneer and just not having these dead expensive drops. Could you take a look at Pokrovac's deck lists? So
I could, but then you solo cast for about a minute and a half, and then I go over to the admins. Is that something you want me to do?
Right. What? Oh, yeah.
Would you want me to go away for a little bit?
No.
Oh,
Okay. That's fine.
I could try finding out. Yeah, obviously too, because of the way information is played. I think they prefer us not to talk too much about.
Oh,
their
sure.
card
No, I
as
got you.
well.
Okay, no, sure.
Unless we see it revealed, because some players have access to their broadcasts as well.
Okay, sure.
Yep. Just the nature of the beast. Now, Innervate, interesting card being picked up here. Doesn't really unlock most stuff, but do you feel like this is an opportunity to wild growth or to Innervate Nourish?
Yeah, I would just go for the wild growth shapeshift play. I don't mind that much, especially with the Auctioneer utilizing the Innervate, and with the Auctioneer seems to be a very reasonable thing to do. I mean, there's also no pressure on the board, right? There are only these 3 damage every turn coming in.
Yeah. Well, Th3Rat has this Man-Side Totem. One of my favorite cards in Shaman in general, because I just love the fact that how much pressure it puts, even though it's just a 0-3. This Man-Side Totem can be the reason you win the game sometimes if it doesn't go answered.
That's right, yeah. I mean, the best way to address a Mana Tide is really also not a good way. So the best way would be that you probably Feral Rage it or Wrath it, but even then you make minus. So yeah.
Right. Card advantage by forcing a Wrath out of your opponent.
Yeah, that's interesting. The Ala Key being drawn. I mean, a very, very late game card. And the red is actually looking to curve out, but the Drake is probably not what he wants to curve out with. He would have rather liked to have some more proactive cards. I mean, the Drake is fine, but the turn after and stuff like this. So he needs to draw some stuff.
I wonder if Th3Rat's playing the Alakir and Ragnaros list. I know some people are being really greedy with the Shamans, and it got very popular on ladder. I think Tom Fleur helped popularize that within the player circles. Don't quote me on that. And it ended up doing pretty well. So Alakir making its way back into the metagame despite people forgetting about it. And it gives them some reasonable burst, because people always think, nah, I don't have to worry about too much burst from Shaman. Alakir is a lot of damage sometimes.
Yeah, and they are also... I mean, the one is the Fire Lord, the one is the Wind Lord, so why not just play both?
That's right, you have all the elements on your side.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, Azure Drake, a very powerful move here, just to put a lot of pressure onto the board. This is where Shaman starts getting really scary. Not to mention that the Spirit Claws #2 is just 9 more damage. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is really insane. It's also, I mean, these turns now from the Druid, they will be the very, very most important of this match. Yeah, probably the next turn or the turn after the match will decide.
We see the Frigid Snowball. That is a pretty interesting card being included. Any opinions on that? Just this 2/6 spell damage minion?
I saw Stan playing that one. So I don't know whether Stan came up with it, but it seems to work. I mean, Stan is also the 70% bet, right?
Yeah.
And he's playing basically the Druid with a Frigid Snowball in that. So I'm really curious how it will work out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of Blood Mage Thanos and Druid sometimes to get the spell power or spell damage swipes and all these impactful swings. The Frigid Snowball, very interesting to me, though. Not sold just yet.
Yeah, the one thing doesn't exclude the other. So you can play Thanos and Frigid Snowball in there.
That's also a possibility. All right, well, Th3Rat picks up a Lightning Bolt. Allows him to develop onto the board here. Druid doesn't necessarily deal with Thunderbluff Valiants as efficiently compared to some other classes. So I've seen a lot of players favor playing Thunderbluff a little bit faster against their opponent, as opposed to waiting for like a lot of totems first.
Oh, you want to play the plain Thunderbluff and Lightning Bolt destroying?
Yeah, I don't mind that play. I think I've seen a lot of people go for that. And how does Druid deal with it now that he just used Spell Power Swipe and a Moonfire?
And there is the Spell Power.
All right, okay. Well,
that
that
very
works.
convenient. That works.
Yeah, that works too. Now you don't have to worry about Lightning Bolt at all, and you can just save your Overload.
But I'm also wondering, because the other play, or this play, if you first produce a totem, if you don't get the spell power, you kind of need to Lightning Bolt, but you don't really want to do that because you're blocking your Thunderbluff into totem turn again and again, right?
Yeah. Which is another reason why maybe the Thunderbluff Valiant was okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I also think that might have been the better play.
What card was that? Oh, Nourish. I mean, you can draw as many cards as you want, but that's if your opponent has the ability to finish the game soon with Bloodlust or other cards, it just feels super scary from this position. Not to mention, if you play the Giant, you're still vulnerable to Hex. Hex is amazing tempo for your opponent, even though you played the Giant very cheaply.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's also a little bit absurd here because the Shaman is throwing just like 2 cards every turn.
Yeah.
And the Druid is paying expensive mana to do the same. And at the same time, he also always takes like 5-7 damage every turn. It's pretty bad for the Druid.
Yeah, actually, I completely 100% agree on this one. I think that a large reason why Shaman is in such a dominant position is because that Mana Tide survived for 4 turns.
Yeah.
He's drawn way too many cards.
So now probably we will see just Thunderbluff coming down, right? Thunderbluff totem up, buffing those 3 totems is just such an insane value.
You might just kill him next turn with just raw damage from the hand.
Yeah.
You have Alec here, or you have Lightning Bolts and Spirit Claws with the Blood Mage Thanos if you need to get past that as well. A lot of damage coming in. Spell Power Swipe is available for Pokrovac. Is that the swing that he needs to win the game here? It's a little bit off, I think, in terms of damage from the hand for Th3Rat. Next turn, I don't think he can kill him. Yeah, he's 7 damage, I think? Oh, no. Oh, wait. No, the
there's
dragon
the 2/1 drag. Yeah. There's the 2/1 drag.
Wow.
And he's angry. That's exactly lethal, right?
Yeah, I forgot about the dragon egg summoning a minion. That's kind of funny. Maelstrom Portal. Ends up being pretty sick there. Anti-swipe tech.
Yeah, I heard Maelstrom Portal being pretty decent in general, so he doesn't disappoint us again.
I mean, if you just look at the hand, it was not even that Shaman. Like, Shaman has so much more reload, and Druid died with so many cards in the hand.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the problems that you were mentioning. Just the fact that it was too slow to keep up with Shaman based off the line that it took.
Yeah, also in general, I mean, Shaman, it's also very risky because if you queue your deck against Shaman and you lose your best deck against Shaman, he will just be able to 3-0 you very easily, or kind of relatively easily. So it's definitely a risk Pokrovac was taking here.
Yeah, I think this is something that you pointed out too. It's just Shaman doesn't have a hard counter.
Yeah.
The best matchup against it was Freeze Mage, and then they started putting Ragnaros in it, so it's not nearly as good anymore. And it's a really hard thing to account for. But This is the reason why I felt like it was worth tuning into this series. You know, not only do we get to see the players who are pretty good, but I want to see how good Reno Warlock can adapt to Shaman. And also because, you know, we love seeing Life Coach play some defensive Warlock decks too, so I think you have a lot to say about some of the plays. I look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also really enjoying to be able to comment on a Reno Warlock playstyle. It's very similar to the Handlock, just not having Molten Giants, which were pretty important. But yeah, I mean, in general, Reno Warlock is a really nice deck. You have 30 cards and all of them are just different, so it gives you so many different strategical options. It's just insane.
Okay. Do you like keeping only Totem Golem from the Rat? There's a couple of other options I wouldn't mind thinking about.
What would you have taken?
Well, I mean, I don't mind keeping Mana Tide as well because of how powerful it can be against your opponent too. It forces such a strong reaction. Out of Reno Warlock, they usually only have one response to it, which is Shadow Bolt. I guess if they also run other single target removals, it's case by case. Sometimes they have a Soulfire, but I feel like it puts so much pressure on your opponent because you're going to be passing turn 2 anyways.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I would have also kept the Mana Tide Totem,
Oh,
but there it is.
never mind.
But there's also another reasoning to it. The other reasoning is that you really don't have that many 3-drops. So if you're playing against a reactive deck, which Reno Warlock definitely is, then you just want this Mana Tide Totem. And these are exactly the matchups where it shines.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. Maybe he thought it was a Zoo Warlock. He doesn't necessarily know the information.
Okay,
so
right.
perhaps he keeps Totem Golem, fish for Lightning Storm, and think about those other things too.
But Zoo Warlock is pretty unfavored against the Shaman, so I would assume pretty unfavored.
Yeah,
It means 40%, 42%, getting pretty wrecked. So I would have been really surprised to see that being queued into the Shaman.
Right, because he still has Warrior available to him. So
Yes.
that would, yeah, you're actually right. That would have been a very weird queue then. All right, well, Mana Tide does come out, and that's very annoying to deal with for the reasons we mentioned. Which of the 4 mana minions do you like better?
Dragon is awesome. I mean, if there isn't a Hex, well, the Dragon will just dominate the entire board. It has 4/7 stats. I'm really curious what the Shaman has to say about that.
Well, he doesn't have an answer either. I wonder if a minion from Barnes could be swinging here at all. Perhaps the Ragnaros.
Yeah, last resort, Ragnaros into the Dragon.
Oh,
whoa,
man.
man, that would be so hilarious.
Yeah, that's
I
one way to
suffer.
put it. Ah,
Nope.
just an Azure Drake. Man, that's a very intimidating hand coming out that Shaman has here. Oh, Spellbreaker. I don't mind those Spellbreakers in the decks because of just the utility of Silence. People don't play around Silence anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Here you would probably just go tap to draw a card to also discount your Mountain Giant. You're not in any life threat at all, and then you just play the Imp-King boss, perfectly threatening the board and also threatening very good trades.
Yeah, pick up the very valuable trade. And I think the Mana Tide drawing another card is just too threatening. You get the easy trade there.
Yeah.
You still have high amounts of health.
Ooh.
Well, this is creative.
Very.
Yeah, what's the value of doing this versus drawing a card and playing Imp Gang Boss?
I'm also a little bit curious because I don't see the spell power being that threatening at this very moment, simply because, I mean, you don't have that many minions on board, so what should he Lightning Storm or Maelstrom? And you also have this Imp Gang Boss who will create some more minions, also ways to come back, so yeah, really interesting play there.
Yeah, I think as Lightning Bolt with the spell power would make the Drake more vulnerable for a trade, but I don't think that would be super impactful.
We also can shortly mention that he silenced the 0/3, while he could have also silenced the 1/1, trading into the 0/3 totem. So effectively having 1 health more and trading the 0/3 for 1/1, which is not a totem. So I think would have probably preferred that.
Silencing the Azure Drake?
Yes, he can silence.
But it becomes a 4/4 then.
Oh, I'm stupid. Okay, never mind. So very spot on, Frodan. And that's why I'm casting today.
No worries. No, I know what you're saying though. Assuming you could take the spell power, but yes, it does. And it does end up becoming. That's actually a way you can cheese as priest. You know, you play Barnes and you play 0 mana silence.
Right.
And you like summon a Deathwing or something.
Right.
Okay. Well, here's Reno Jackson. That is really powerful in case Shaman chooses to be aggressive, but for now, not that impactful. And look, like, I think you mentioned, man, just look at how powerful that Twilight Drake's been. Just bullying the board. Anything that comes out that just gets easy trade into, can't do anything much.
Yeah, I guess when Reno Warlock seizes the board, that's probably the sign that it's running very well for him.
Now, Raven mentioned that this type of Reno Warlock likes to run a bunch of clears. Is there any card that we're not expecting that usually helps to clear? Like, we know Hellfire, we know Demon Wrath, and Shadow Flame. Is there anything else besides... Oh, and Twisting Nether. Is there anything else besides that that we're not aware of?
Well,
help clear the board?
I don't think he will play it, but there were some versions with this Murloc and with the Curator board there. And some played this,
Cool.
the nine bolts somewhere. I don't know the name because I never played it.
The 9-bolt summoner?
No, it's like 9 bolts somewhere. It's 3 months.
Oh, Spreading Madness.
Spreading Madness, thank you very much.
Wow, some people actually play that card?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it in Spain. Like, it's a Spanish tournament.
I like it. Oh, that Taunt Totem is so annoying. Oh, my goodness. Well, there's a way to get around it. But you can just obviously play Sylvanas here, force your opponent to awkward spots. It's very clear that Shaman doesn't have Hex. There's many times they would have loved the Hex already.
Yeah, and this 8/6 Giant is definitely threatening a lot. Yeah, definitely a very difficult turn here. I mean, you're facing a Sylvanas. Sylvanas turns being very difficult anyways, but especially if you have something with more than 5 hits on the board. I mean, what are you supposed to do about that, right?
Is there a way to go defensively wide, like Feral Spirits, and try to see if you can push your opponent a little bit that way and slowly whittle him down? Because you do have AoE, so if you play weaker minions that they trade into, you can always get the easy trades of Sylvanas and AoE down.
Well, I mean, you can try, but by doing so, by expanding your board, you also play into their AoE,
That's true.
Shadow Flame. So it's just a very, very difficult spot to be in. You have to evaluate what your opponent's hands could be, and depending on that, you play it more defensively, more aggressively, more with taunts, bigger minions, smaller minions, a smaller amount of minions, bigger amount of minions.
Yeah, I think that might be the case here. Oh, interesting.
That's really interesting.
Lightning Storm. So trying to weaken his board.
Yeah, but now he can just take the Thanos.
Yeah, and Thanos gets pretty good with some of the things in Reno Warlock. Not that much because they have a lot more minion-based strategies, but it certainly helps. Plus, it helps him draw a card.
Yeah, and also prevents you from drawing a card. And
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very big. Also, thinking about that, the Lightning Storm could have not even hit, so that he doesn't receive the Thanos, so he basically gave the Thanos away. Not sure how...
Yeah, when you say it like that, it makes me not like to play nearly as much. And now he's also overloaded, so he's stuck in an awkward position that he can't exactly fight back from a very dominant spot here.
Yeah, and at the same time, Pokrovac is underloaded, if you want to say so. Being with like having the ability to play a lot of cards cheaper.
Yeah. Well, he does have a cheap thing from below for 0 mana here. Okay. Maelstrom Portal.
And the red is just trying to come back whatsoever. No, but yeah, I mean, slowly the resources of the Shaman will dwindle down, and at some point there will be nothing left, I guess.
What is the Maelstrom Portal trying to accomplish there? Because it actually didn't do anything for the power on board. But is it because he wants a better Flame Tongue the next turn with the Alakir, perhaps, or something else?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, it looks like that he plans for something like this. Maybe also thinking that this is the last option, so he now just plays all of his cards, just ignoring a future AoE, because he knows if this game continues another 3 or 4 turns, he will have 0% chance to win anymore.
Yeah, and look at that, Demon Wrath coming in huge, because he ended up Maelstrom portaling and ended up working out exactly the way he wanted to. And Reno Warlock looks like it's in a great position. Shaman's really not doing much here.
Yeah, I mean, even the Alakir with a Flame Tongue, I mean, it's doing some work, but probably not sufficient.
Yeah, I guess the nice thing is that your Alakir doesn't die to it. but you do use 2 cards to kill 2.5 cards-ish. If your opponent has a Mortal Coil, you feel like you just didn't lose any. Your opponent didn't lose anything, and he gets a life tap. So he's super far ahead in the resource count.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he could even answer with a Hellfire, for example, and flooding the board again.
Yeah.
So now spell power into 5/5.
No.
Oh.
Although Feral Spirits helps put up a wall, but man, that's where Hellfire is really powerful.
Okay, you think it's the best?
That's a good question. Oh wait, what?
Ah, I saw this in Stan's list too.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Jungle Panther?
Yeah. Like the idea is it's stealth, and you can just Shadow Flame it way better. So sometimes you don't have this access to turn for Shadow Flame. And with this one,
like the old version of Big Game Hunter, where you just sometimes just Shadow Flame the Big Game Hunter for the damage.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good question. Do you need to Hellfire this turn? Not necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you just Soulfire this dragon and eats the 2 wolves for free, and you're good to go. You can even play something else. Additionally.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe me healing your minions, whatever.
Oh, that's a good point too. I wouldn't hate that. Dark Peddler also gives you options to search for 1-mana minions if you want to, or 1-mana plays if you want to search for anything from abusive, power overwhelming. Yeah, I like this though. Really loads the board. Your opponent already used Maelstrom Portal and Lightning Storm, so it's hard for him to deal with it.
Yeah, I guess now facing this board, even after Lightning Storm. I mean, the Lightning Storm can do some. That isn't spell powered yet. Maybe soon. Maybe there would have been an argument to play Thunder Bluff now, just hoping it will be spell power and then trying to clear the board. I mean, not completely, but only leaving Vendor up.
Yeah. Now there's 3 minions that can survive Lightning Storm, as opposed to the 1 if he had Lightning Storm with spell damage. Oh boy, this could be really impactful. Although realistically, even if he's able to get the most amount of damage, it still would be a pretty tough position to be in because Pokrovac has the advantage right now.
Oh yeah. I'm also curious why he didn't play the Thunder Bluff. I mean, the Thunder Bluff would have been a 3/6, also the Totem would have been stronger.
I think he was overloaded for 2, so he couldn't play Lightning Storm and the hero power. So
yeah, the overload was 1. No, it was 1. Yeah, you're right.
It was actually 2, I think, because he played Feral Spirit the previous turn. So he was at 8 mana the previous turn. Yeah. Now he's at 7 because of the Totem Golem putting the extra 1. And now he can't even play Alakir. Still can't play it. It's stuck in his hand for a long time. And that's one of the criticisms against that card, is that sometimes it's just stuck for a long time not to be able to do much. And you'd rather have lower cost cards because you always want the hero power with Shaman.
There is a law.
Alright, well, Shaman feels super good. Oh, sorry, the Arena Lock feels really good against Shaman right now. And he's just life tapping super aggressively. I was wondering if there's a world where you can just play Jiraxxus and start pressuring your opponent, but I guess he's aware of the possibility of still dying to Ragnaros or Alakir stuff, so you'd rather just maximize your value.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind that. I mean, just playing the Jiraxxus if Shaman doesn't have any cards in the hand seems to be the most appealing, right? So.
Shields up.
Wow, not taunting the jungle because I think he doesn't want it to die to easy trades here. And I think the Rat is going to be looking for a way to kill his opponent from the hand, but I don't think there's many ways to do it now that your opponent just is pushing for lethal in the next few turns because he's losing super hard on board. Alright, well, Pokrovac also has the ability to heal in the case he's life tapping too much. And Reno on the board, Reno as presence onto the board isn't a bad thing either. Interesting. Yeah, this is just super dominant. Like, I don't really think Shaman could do anything anymore from this position. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rat consider conceding soon. Although, he'll do his due diligence, see every card possible.
Yeah, the red really doesn't want to give up. So, but yeah, I also see little he could do.
Yeah, the Hex not that impactful. And once again, Alec here just a little bit awkward here. At best, it kills the Kodo, and then that you give it one of your finishers. He could be thinking about the possibility of draining his opponent's resources and then winning through Ragnaros. It could be one of the ways he could win. But then you already know that your opponent's drawn most of his deck, so he probably has Twisting Nether.
Maybe he's hoping that the Reno Warlock isn't playing Lord Jaraxxus, so winning through this way.
Yeah, sometimes they play Alex Strauss instead.
Right, yeah, and then you might be able to hex it later or stuff like this.
Yeah, but I mean, from this position, oh, I guess Pokrovac. Wow, super aggressive tapping.
yeah, definitely.
At what point do you ever play Jaraxxus? Probably not. I think his philosophy is that if he plays Jaraxxus, he opens himself to get killed through like Ragnaros or something silly like that.
Right, yeah.
But at this point, there's just, you know,
he doesn't need to risk anything. No, I agree.
So that should be it here. I think with Shadow Bolts and Hellfire, just guaranteed lethal, and a Ragnaros too. If anything, Pokrovac reveals a lot more cards about his deck. That could be one of the downsides if you're playing in this format. You show that you're playing Cult Apothecary, for example. You show that you have some of these other tech cards. So sometimes you want to end the game a little bit faster if you have the choice to, as opposed to draw it out because you reveal less cards to your opponent.
Do you think that might have been also a reason not to show Jaraxxus?
Yeah.
For future matchups?
It's actually a really good point too, perhaps. And that's the reason why you wouldn't BM with Ragnaros, or you don't want to end the game unnecessarily. Something to consider. Well, Reno Warlock stays alive and Shaman goes down. That's according to strategy, according to the plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also having this anti-aggro lineup, I mean, maybe you can punish some other aggro drags as well. So, yeah, let's see.
It does feel very risky to bring Reno Warlock because there's just so many decks that are good against it now.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it has that many good strategies. But we'll see if the Rat can turn around. He's going to turn to his Zoo deck to try to kill it. And Zoo tends to be very fast onto the board, which Reno Warlock struggles against if they don't have the early game clear. So like Doomsayer, for example, is super important. Because even if you have Hellfire, sometimes they just build up the board so much it doesn't matter, you die, because you deal damage to yourself too.
That's right, yeah. And of course, Reno Jackson being absolute important in this match. Otherwise, you probably just die.
Yeah. And then even then, sometimes you play Reno Jackson, they still have 15 damage on the board, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I just basically Frost Nova one turn.
Yeah, even the Dragon, I mean, usually you could argue, yeah, the Dragon, I mean, if he taps 2 times, then he might have a very nice big Dragon. But the thing is, if you die the turn after, it's often not that much help.
Acidic Swamp Ooze is something, at least you're not life tapping this turn. Hey!
Panther, yeah.
Yeah, Jungle Panther. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah, there is the Wolf probably in trade, so because obviously the Red doesn't want to just lose the Void Walker for free. Obviously not trading to flame him, so that's a very strong play.
Do you need to trade there, you think? To play around, I guess, Demon Wrath and Shadow Bolt? Well, actually, Demon Wrath wouldn't really matter. So
yeah,
pretty
you
much
would have
Shadow
gone face,
Bolt.
right? Yeah.
Do you think it's misdamage, or it's still better to do that?
Well, if there would have really been a Shadow Bolt and you just lose a Void Walker, him having a 3-1, maybe it would have been better to go face if you already would have had the Knife Juggler in the hand, but without it, I don't think so. I think it was pretty on spot.
Yep. Well, normally people love to just drop Imp Gang Boss on turn 3, but now with things like the Jungle Panther, is there an alternative play?
But is the Imp Gang Boss really that vulnerable? I mean, are you that unhappy if he Jungle Panthers your Imp Gang Boss, both paid 3 mana, you get another 1-1, which is on the right side of the Wolf? It's not that bad, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be that bad. I guess you're still vulnerable to Hellfire either way, no matter how you play this turn.
Right.
So you might as well play the best available minion that you have to you.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid.
the Jungle Panther also doesn't have that insane attacks. I mean, you can take the Imp Boss or the Flame Imp.
Yeah, it's true. What's even the best secondary card? Like, they pretty much have to have Hellfire and that's it. Otherwise, they don't have really much good stuff happening.
Yeah, I mean the Reno Warlock, I mean all cards, Lotirax is a dead card, the Giant obviously as well. No AoE, no Reno Jackson, it's really not looking good for him.
Do you like the Dragon, or is there even an opportunity to use Spellbreaker this turn?
It's interesting. What do you Spellbreak? The Imp Boss, right?
Probably. Because no matter what you trade with the Panther, well, hold on. Maybe because silencing the dog also takes away the power as well. Actually, it takes away more power. It takes away 2 power on the board.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I think I would prefer the Dragon no matter what, because the Spellbreaker just dies so easily to the Flame Imp, right?
Yeah.
You can just trade it directly.
The Twilight Drake because of 4/5.
Okay, but there is the silence. Okay, I don't mind that. I mean, you get a silence target now, so why not just silencing it?
Yeah, I suppose so. And this like it gets a good trade into the dog, so it forces a trade onto your opponent, assuming he doesn't have a Soulfire.
Right, right. Whereas you also do have a Knife Juggler. Maybe you want to see what the Knife Juggler hits, or is it rather something else? I mean, like Juggler Peddler.
Yeah, Juggler Peddler. If it misses, then you trade the 4/2. If it hits, then you can put the dog in.
Yeah.
Or would you Peddler first? Because you can search for a lot of options to help kill your opponent or disrupt it. Probably still better to Juggler first, I think. Because it's higher odds for something to happen. The Discover odds are not actually that high to discover, like, Soulfire, for example.
Exactly, yeah, I definitely like to take the knife. He seems to say, okay, I want to throw the knife, but I also always want to preserve my wolf. So he's just valuing the wolf way more than the imp.
Oh, you would have gotten the Soulfire.
Same.
Oh, taking the imp instead because he has the librarian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Making sure he doesn't overlap. Wow! Stampeding Kodo! That was one of the best draws he could have gotten, short of Hellfire.
So now you can probably just play the Defender of Argus and the Possessed Villager, just go everything face, and the next turn you have like Imp Librarian option, maybe drawing a 3/3 Golem in the course of this action.
You also leave the option to draw Doom card, and then having the Imp and the Doom card combo, which is very, very powerful. I like it.
I mean, you make yourself a little bit vulnerable. Oh, probably, why not playing the Possessed Villager first and then turning up Possessed Villager and the 2/2? Because then you protect your Knife Juggler as well. What do you think about that?
Is it better against Hellfire or Shadow Flame if you do that instead? If you do this, you at least have a 1/1 on board if they AoE. But if you taunt the Possessed Villager, then if they have AoE, you lose everything.
Okay.
I think that's the one thing. Oh, what? Are you serious? Two back-to-back draws that are amazing for Pokrovac. Dang. Oh, man. And the Rat has to go back to square one here. I mean, now he has time to play some of these bigger threats. And that might have saved Pokrovac the game here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, until this moment, you saw that he probably didn't have AoE in the hand because of how he played. So it's really only the Hellfire, and it has to also come with top deck. So maybe you just want to empty your hand here, playing the Imp King Boss, Librarian, and the Imp and the Librarian. I mean, you're not drawing cards, but you're also not discarding any. So I like that one. Trading the Villager and just going face with the rest.
That's a really good point. I think the Rat can make a pretty hard read on how fast Pokrovac played, and the past couple turns he's been playing off the top of his hand. So
yes,
I think you can really identify that your opponent's hand is really awkward here.
Okay.
Would you want to save the Imp in case you just save it for the actual discard and play the Abusive Sergeant instead?
Yeah, I guess in this case, yes. If you play it like this, you would probably want to do that.
All right, well, Day number 7, Mountain Giant still stranded. Oh my goodness. Cult Apothecary is so good in this position.
9
Healing
life.
for 9. Healbot is back to a certain degree.
Better in stats, better in heal.
Yeah, it's
Pretty good.
just better in this situation.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, it's perfect, right? You play the Knife Juggler, you play the Imp, you play the Librarian, even draw another card. Awesome.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah, the board space is good. You don't really necessarily need the Flame Imp. I think you're trying to get to Doomguard as fast as you can at this point. Try to end the game, because the longer the game drags out, the more Reno Lock picks up some of their best tools, because they still haven't even used, you know, Hellfire and Shadow Flame or Twisting Nether. All those are super backbreaking. It's also not a bad card to pick up. Defender of Argus is pretty strong.
Yeah, I guess just face with the rest. I don't think you can trade, right?
I mean, if you trade, you're protecting the Knife Juggler.
Which is right, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, he didn't get the juggle on there, so he sacrifices it. Man, tough spot for the Zoo Warlock, but at the same time, they do have the board.
ooh, Demon Wrath. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Demon Wrath clears almost everything except for the 1/1 demon and the 1/3. And then I guess that leaves the Twilight Drake afterwards.
Yeah.
Twilight Drake not that imposing, just a 4-mana 4/5, very vanilla stats.
Ooh,
that
that's
is really
insane.
powerful. But is it enough? I mean, it's not like you're doing a huge swing on the board here with Defender of Argus.
My shield for Argus.
But it's tons of value.
Yeah,
So
it's huge
pretty
value.
Ooh.
Oh.
He would have liked to have this before.
Man, imagine if he was able to draw 2 cards from it. I wonder if this will go down to the point where Reno Warlock just drains Zoo of resources. Like, ends up becoming, like, they don't really kill Zoo. Zoo just kills itself because it doesn't have anything else left.
Right, right.
I wonder.
I mean, usually they don't go to fatigue, but usually they just end up being at 9 life, 11 life, and then you can just drain them out.
Is this the turn? Day 9. Mountain Giant finally gets played.
I guess before he commits to the Giant for 9 or for 8,
He would life tap.
he would always life tap.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Soulfire here. All 3 of those are kind of really important. Loses Siphon Soul, so there's no way to deal with Doomguard. Oh man, the Rat is gonna be frothing for a Doomguard at this point.
Nope.
He can still cycle.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah. You cycle probably the card from the Peddler because it has a little bit less value. Usually, I mean,
Unless it's another Soulfire. Oh, Reliquary Seeker's not necessarily that bad of a pick either.
Ooh, 5/5, nearly.
Yeah.
If he taps a 1-drop, he can. But yeah.
That is true. The problem is that he can't fill the board up this turn, and he would have to cycle one of those cards too, so the chances of him filling up the board is very low.
I was wondering if he taps into a 1-drop, then he can't fill the board this turn, but it's...
Yeah, he already tapped at the beginning of it, so he can't.
I don't know what's up today.
Huh. Oh, okay, I get it. So you wanted to guarantee the cycle so you can get the 3 damage trade into it.
The truth is in here.
No more discard, but you know, Malchezaar Zimp getting the cycle through the deck pretty aggressively. And Pokrovac doesn't really have many options here. Oh, that's a pretty good option though. Sylvanas. Would you taunt Sylvanas here?
I have no time for games.
Yeah.
Okay.
My shield for Argus.
Where's the Doomguard? No Doomguard.
But the preparation for it, and I mean, at this very moment, the Red should only have Doomguards in his deck card. So
At one point, it's not going to be surprising to see Doomguard into Doomguard.
yeah, probably. I mean,
Yeah, he's got 6 cards, I think, left in the deck. With the ability to draw even more with life tap.
6 cards. So what you're saying, if he draws the Doomguard, he cannot even commit the other imp to draw 4 cards because at some point
He's going to fatigue himself, actually.
I wonder.
Oh, there it is. Nope, still no Doomguard. All right, the Rat can go into a trade for Sylvanas and hope that one of the weaker minions goes. Ideally, the Dark Peddler would go to the other side. Actually, ideally, the Abusive Sergeant goes. Oh! And there it is.
Yeah, that's pretty convenient.
Very nice. All this whittling down, will it be worth it? Because right now, Pokrovac also doesn't have much option. I think he might have to play Jiraxis straight up onto the board if he doesn't have anything else going on for him.
But he still has a lot of AoE in there, right? Twisting Nether.
It's true.
Hellfire also not being played yet.
Coil helps.
Yeah.
Let's deal with one of the small threats. Imp Gang Boss. All right. Just doing stuff. Also, attacking the face is not trivial either. You know, Zoo is going to eventually be on the fatigue plan. Where's Doomguard?
Nope.
Oh my god. Doomguard are 2 out of the last 3 cards in the deck.
That is just insane. This is just insane.
How? What are the odds of that happening? Oh man. That's pretty unfortunate. But it's not like the game is over. The fact is, Reno Warlock still has to deal with 2 Dark Shard Councilmans. And all he has in the hand is Jiraxis, which means if he plays Jiraxis, he's pretty much just dead on the board. So he has to be really careful right now. I think the Rat's like just worried about also the trades and how his opponent can use AoE.
Yeah, but I guess he would just go for face. I mean, he knows time is very short.
Yeah.
So I also don't see that beneficial trades there. I mean, do you really want to send the 2-3 and the 1-3 on the 2-3? I mean, it's so expensive. Taking 4 damage on your minions.
Plays around Hellfire and Shadow Flame, I guess, that way. Because then his opponent's... No, his board's cleared either way.
Yeah.
And he's looking for the AoE mind control tech. And Brand!
Oh,
What? Oh, double councils on the other side.
Mental dislocator.
Oh, that's still backbreaking. And now he loses one of those Dark Shard Councilmans. And the Rat pretty much has to hit Doomguard into Doomguard, but he can't...
He cannot.
What?
Oh my.
Doomguard's literally the last 2 cards in his deck.
Oh my god.
Literally the last 2 cards in his deck. Oh my goodness. Can he even win anymore? Because the Reno Lock's threatening to kill him.
That was a pretty
And
big
there it is. Oh, he had actually 1 more card. So not the last 2 cards, but pretty dang close.
This is so insane. I mean, if you play Zoo without Doomguard, yeah, that's probably not that appealing.
No, the deck's actually kind of bad. And I think that's lethal with Jiraxis in the hand. So Pokrovac will take a 2-1 lead, and Zoo falls to the Reno Warlock. And this funny thing is...
Double Jiraxis. Oh no, no, what is the funny thing?
Actually, I think this happens twice. I think you're right.
But that was not the funny thing you mentioned. The funny thing was...
The funny thing is that it's not even like Reno had the AoE to kill Zoo, so it's like both these players had to play very suboptimally. But in the end, Reno Lock survived because the game went on too long. Like, Zoo had to play without Doomguards, but Reno Lock played without all the AoE that it's supposed to have.
Right, it was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely not how we expected this matchup to go down. But you were also right with your fatigue. It was basically one-off fatigue, right? That's insane.
He just ran out of cards.
Yeah.
So we'll go into game number 4 to see if Reno Lock can sweep, which is something that I didn't think I'd be saying today at all, or this weekend. I just thought Reno Warlock was kind of a joke. You know, I thought people said, you'll play Reno Warlock if you know you don't feel like winning, you just want to have fun. But in this case, Pokrovac might actually do it. And he's got Reno Jackson in the opening hand against Dragon Warrior.
Ooh, okay.
With some pretty good early game cards.
Yeah. I mean, Pokrovac might get the best of both worlds here. Fun and win. So that's pretty awesome, yeah.
That's when you know it's your day in Hearthstone.
But the Dragon Warrior also has just an insane hand. I mean, just look at this hand. It's like turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the starting hand. Like turn 1.
And
like what?
The best turn 1 too. The fact that you can coin this out and charge.
Yeah, like all the best drops. Like Dragon and... Like, it's insane.
Oh, and you know, you're forced in this position because you don't want to play Ooze and then your opponent has the Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, that's right.
But because you didn't do that, you took an extra 5 damage or more.
I mean, Reno Jackson turn 6 is very nice to refill your life, but what if you don't see turn 6? Which might happen here. I'm not sure.
No, it's a really good point. Dragon Warrior can kill in 5 turns. They have chargers in the hand. Look at that! It's turn 3! The opponent's at 16 life.
This is so sick. Okay, so far helps.
Okay.
So far helps.
What if you... No,
This got Reno Jackson.
Discard
That would
Reno
have been
Jackson.
So sick.
Oh, man. I mean, it's not like you can play Defender here either. This Defender is really bad, so... I think you might have to do that.
Which was, by the way, also a very nice foresight from Th3Rat that he didn't play the Frozen Berserk, but instead playing this Monkey. Otherwise, their Defender would have been an option.
That was close. 1 card off him discarding Reno. That would have been really scary.
Oh, look at this pressure.
Oh.
Oh.
So
the Dragon, it goes to 11. No, he needs to play Cochrane, and then he can confirm lethal. Then he can confirm lethal. If he plays Cochrane here,
that's
like
14 damage over 2 turns.
Yes. Exactly. Oh, this is so insane. And Pokrovac doesn't have the answer. So he has Reno Jackson in the hand, but oh my god. And he's realizing it. He's realizing
What a way to go.
Oh my god.
He needs a healer. Taunt, he gets a heal!
Oh, the healer.
That's so big. But then Th3Rat can also pick up 3 damage pretty easily. There's a lot of 3 damage sources.
That's right.
Blackwing Corruptor, Fiery War Axe.
No.
No.
Oh, and the Dragon Discussion is already very happy because he thinks he will definitely come down as a 9-9, but no.
All right, well, now Th3Rat also has to consider, it's coming up on turn 6. Do I play around Reno Jackson? Because if I go all face, my opponent has an opportunity to be trade. But then, the 3/6 taunt introduces so many bad trades for the opponent's board.
Yep.
So I feel like you still pressure him down to 3.
Yeah, and if he is down to 3, he cannot even take the Hellfire option. So I guess you definitely play the 3/6 taunt here and just go face with everything. It's basically really only Reno Jackson here. It's the only card which can save the Pokrovac, but obviously he has him.
Here's the really interesting thing that you can make a read though. You know your opponent gets 1 card, and he hasn't played at all in the early game. And if you keep 1 card early on, it's like Doomsayer or some of these early game plays. So I think you can actually read your opponent to actually have Reno Jackson.
Right, right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Probably.
It still doesn't change, I think, anything, but... Oh, well, now this, I think he makes the read by hedging his bets this way. There you go.
All right.
He reads the Reno Jackson. Even though you hope it's not, it is. It totally is.
Plus 24.
Oh my god. But
Triple heal bot.
Not even that surprised.
Oh, he is. Oh, just 1 turn short.
Yeah. Also the sequencing. You drew 6 mana on 5 and you drew 5 mana on 6. So tilting.
Cruel.
Well, I don't really hate the Blackwing Corruptor. Reno Jackson can't get through the 3/6 that easily, and the core currently is doing so much damage. It's never being dealt with here.
Yeah, it's another 7 to the face. I definitely don't mind it. I mean, you're also staying with 3 minions against 1 minion. You're still safe from AoE. I think that's by far the best play. Yeah, sure.
I wield the power.
Oh, interesting. Killing Reno.
Okay.
Is he afraid of some way for his opponent to? Shadow Flame or Shadow Step, like a panda, for example.
Oh, a panda. Okay.
Some people who play like N'Zoth versions of stuff play the panda in the control list, like Control Warrior, Control Shaman, and sometimes if they play N'Zoth Reno Lock, that way they play Emperor. And they hit N'Zoth and the Panda, and they bounce it back.
Wow, okay.
Then you have Panda onto Reno Jackson as well. I don't know.
That's very tricky. I mean, that might have been his way of thought. Oh, and he played into the MC tag. He knows that Pokrovac plays this.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh my god! And if he MC tech and he lands on the Kodo.
Oh my god.
And it's a full board clear.
Oh my god, that was such a swing turn.
Holy crap.
Holy crap. And he takes, oh my god.
Yeah, he clears the board. Oh no, Reno Jackson.
This has really happened?
Oh wait. Is that a possible way to change it? I mean...
But your opponent has four good minions on the board, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And with 1 turn 8, you change it to you have 4 good minions on the board, your opponent has nothing. I've never seen such a thing
That
before.
was amazing swing. And Pokrovac is in the groove here. Doesn't really have to think much about his turns. Just clear and start putting the pressure back on Dragon Warrior. And that 6/6 can't be a 9/9 yet. Fiery War Axe. Just, it's taunting him, man. All the 3 damage sources that he needed that one turn, he just didn't get it.
So if he sends Grom and the Monkey, which might seem appealing to him, Pokrovac can already go simply ahead, play Lord Jiraxxus into Infernal. It's just, yeah, pure domination.
Yeah. The nice thing is that Grom's at 6 health, so a little bit awkward on the board for trade. I don't think you didn't see your opponent play Moto Coil though.
Yeah, but you still do it probably.
Yeah.
You still go Jiraxxus and Infernal, trade both minions off to not risk anything, and then you just have this 6/6 every turn. You even have some Fury Protector option.
So,
No.
like that.
He doesn't want.
Interesting. Maybe he just feels like his hand of Jiraxxus is too weak. But you've already seen Ragnaros and Gromish now, so what are your opponent's finisher potentials? I guess Deathwing?
Not even, because you have Jiraxxus, right? So you just produce another Infernal if this would happen.
Yeah.
But I guess now he's kind of forced to play the Mountain Giant into double trade. Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Yeah, I guess, because it's an 8/8 over a 6/6 development, so in the end you kind of still have a board,
yeah.
better board, because I guess you missed the 3 damage from Jirax's weapon.
Ooh, okay. And then there will be the 9/9 coming down. I don't like this at all.
Oh yeah, you activate yourself within the Draconoid Crusher range. You know what it could be too? It could be bad habits.
Oh, tapping.
Sometimes
first.
just like so fast on the tap, you always feel like you have to tap first.
Oh, okay.
It could be that too, sometimes.
That's right, yeah.
I know I suffer from that sometimes. That's pretty scary. I don't know, man.
He's going for it.
Do you just like taunt up then and try to? No, you get eaten up.
I think you still have to do it. It's just like, but now it becomes really nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, now probably tap is the right thing to be done.
Oh, awkward.
It's not getting better, and let's say it like this.
Yeah, and then if your opponent has the executes and some charge damage, again, like Blackwing Corruptor, Albatross Champion, you could just die. And all of a sudden the game that felt like it was Super 1 might end up flipping around.
Yeah, it's super silly. I mean, yeah, you probably play this guy.
Yeah, not quite the heal bot.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe even the Imp Gang boss, because you want to heal after Jiraxxus, but
Yeah.
somehow that, like, everything doesn't feel that right anymore.
Okay. Drake. Oh, interesting. Sir Finley. The hero power switches could be really useful with Hunter hero power.
Yeah, I guess Warlock is not what you need at this very moment, so yeah, probably Hunter is, yeah. I guess that's what he needs.
Mage hero power wouldn't be bad. Druid hero power wouldn't be bad either to help get past the 4/4 right
Yep,
now.
yep.
So just fishing for options.
Nope.
Oh, how good is the
Free?
lesser
Oh, what?
healing? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's okay. You can heal
Yeah.
your
You can heal your 9/9.
9/3, yeah, 9/1, yeah. Or, I mean, presuming that you attack with it.
Right. Yeah, this is all right. This is actually like still doable for the Dragon Warrior.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's very doable.
It's true, yeah.
You know what? It's kind of nice to see a punishment for if a person misplays. It's you kind of. At first, I was kind of like, I want Reno Warlock to do well, and then all of a sudden, Pokrovac kind of gave the rat this small window, and now it might actually be a real thing.
I mean, Twisting Netherrealm Gang was probably coming down here.
Yeah. Whoa, Shadow Flame instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, save the Twisting Nether, I guess.
Yeah, I think I like it. You also preserve. Yeah, you saved the Twisting Nether, but that might be important later.
No tap this time?
Nope.
I mean, you already saw Ragnaros and Grom, and you're...
Oh! Did he tap last? Oh,
it's okay, he's Shadow Flaming. Like, so it didn't really matter, but... Yeah, I know what you mean. Order.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But
Oh, that's a pretty powerful card as well. I like Azure Drake. I think you need to fish really hard for something. But then the problem becomes the Twilight Guardian might be stranded for the taunt. So then maybe you play the taunt guy first. Do you like that?
I think he wants to play Blackwing and Azure. I don't mind it. I mean, Blackwing Corruptor needs an activator. And he just thinks that he will probably draw another dragon. So, ooh. Wow. Alright.
So, you Twisting Nether. Oh, Doomsayer.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty convenient.
Wow.
That's very damn convenient. I guess it saves the day.
I think that should probably wrap it up. Unless Core Elite. Yeah, I guess get to work. At least you get the heal. Heal might be relevant when your opponent starts hitting you with Jiraxis every turn. How many cards are left in each other's decks? I feel like we've watched back-to-back fatigue games.
Yeah. I mean, all of them were very, very long, right?
Yeah, certainly. And that Inferno is nothing to scoff at either. So with this, there's not... I think that should be lethal the next turn, or the possible lethal because of Siphon Soul.
Yeah,
That's going to do it. The Rat's going to drop 1 to 3. Pokrovac going to sweep with Reno Jackson Warlock. In a Karazhan meta. What a time to be alive. I didn't expect that, Life Coach. I thought Reno Warlock would like get its counter Shaman win and then maybe just like move on, but yeah, being able to win that Zoo game was huge. And also Dragon Warrior. Being able to survive that onslaught and then Reno Jackson coming out huge on turn 6.
Yeah, I guess also you also exhaust your opponent after 3 Reno Warlock games. So after losing to that deck 2 times, you're like, yeah, okay.
He may have tilted the Rat for the rest of his matches today.
Yeah.
It's pretty tilting sometimes when you just realize, oh, it was so close so many times. And after he played the Reno Jackson, you drew the Blackwing Corrupt, and you're like, oh my god, this feels so bad.
Pushing people to real-life fatigue is the way to do well in Swiss, it seems. But yeah, it's a pretty cool series. I actually didn't expect, very similar. I thought Reno is a deck that it was built to beat the Shaman, right? But then you start to look at the lineups, and it's actually Shaman. Zoo, it can actually be okay because it's so anti-board, like minion-focused. Seem to get the work done, but we do have Pokrovac here as well.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
We'll get some words. And yeah, that was a pretty impressive run. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you very much.
Main question, did you think Reno Lock was going to perform as well as it did?
Yeah, I quite expected because it's pretty good deck. We have 50-50 versus Zoo, or slightly unfavorite, but we are pretty good versus Warriors, and I thought it will be Control Warrior, and quite good against Shaman. So yeah.
And did you think through the matches you've played actually so far today, has your overall strategy been working? Because obviously you've taken something very similar to what Stan Sivka's done to a certain extent, and do you think it's going to it's been working so far and it's going to be enough to go through?
Yeah, I hope so. I think we have same lineups as Stan, or I have same lineup as Stan, and I think it's pretty good strategy on this tournament because we have counters on other decks and aggros, controls, mid-ranges, and yeah, I quite like our lineup.
Okay.
I think it will be enough.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys?
He was wondering about the tap, right? Whether the tap was too fast.
Oh, yeah. You kind of hesitated to play Drax at one point, then you tapped into the Mountain Giant. Did you accidentally tap too fast, or was that actually because you're fishing for other card like your AoE?
I don't remember exactly this situation. It was in last game? Or
yes, I think it was the last game. Because at one point, after you had that insane turn where you took all 4 of his minions and you killed it, the mind control tech, Kodo, and Sylvanas trade, it felt like there was an opportunity for you to just play Draxus and get really far ahead. And then you just like life tap, and then you were playing the Mountain Giant. But then because you life tap, you activated his 9/9, and then it was a really awkward situation there.
Yeah, maybe it was quite a mess. But I'm not actually. I think I didn't play really well because I think I maybe do some mistakes in that game with Druid, and I could probably maybe win it that game, and I wasn't that confident in that game, and didn't feel really great after that game. So.
Yeah, it always sucks when you die with like 8 cards in your hand as Druid, and you're like, I could have done a lot more than this.
And how do you feel Swiss is in general to play? Because obviously, you said you didn't think you played too well, or a few moments at least in this series. Do you think you can be all right for the rest of the day? Because there's still a fair few rounds left.
Yeah, I hope I will concentrate more, and I was quite nervous on this stream.
Oh, okay. It happens to the best of us.
Yep.
No doubt at all. But not quite sure if the second match is actually
It's
finished or not.
over.
Is it over?
Penny defeated Mr. Yaga 3-0. So the all control lineup from Penny. She was able to beat Yaga.
I spoke to her before the match actually, and she was a little bit nervous about it because in her matches so far as well, she's built a lineup that does one thing very well, and she's not hit anyone with the lineup she expected to hit. So again, similar to what we were talking about earlier about the lineup you bring to against a certain field you're expecting. If you miss that in your matchups, it's going to be pretty difficult. But yeah, that's going to be that game over as well. So we're going to go to a break while we sort out round 4. So don't go anywhere, guys. This is Dreamhack Winter at